In the panorama of ancient Near Eastern history, few figures have left as profound and mysterious a mark as the Queen of Sheba.
She holds a revered place in all three major monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Legend has it that in the 10th century BCE, she traveled thousands of miles bearing immense wealth and spices but for over 3,000 years, a major question has baffled scholars. Where exactly was the Queen of Sheba's kingdom located? The quest to answer this has led expeditions from the arid deserts of the Arabian Peninsula to the towering highlands of East Africa. This is not merely an attempt to find a geographical coordinate, humanity's first global trade networks. It reveals the cross-continental cultural exchanges and how ancient states utilized mythology to legitimize their power. This documentary will delve into classical texts, contemporary archaeological evidence, and paleographic data to reconstruct the geographical, political, and economic landscape of the Kingdom of Sheba, thereby pinpointing the true origins of the oldest written record of her is found in the Hebrew Bible, detailing her meeting with King Solomon around 960 BCE. The most notable detail is her tribute, a staggering 120 talents of gold, countless precious stones, and
this abundance of aromatics is a crucial ecological clue. Frankincense is endemic to the southern Arabian Peninsula.
However, the Bible provides a complex genealogy. The name Sheba appears in the lineages of both Africa and Arabia. This duality planted the seeds for the two greatest hypotheses debated for millennia. The East African hypothesis. Meanwhile, the Quran records the event from an Islamic perspective. The hoopoe bird reported to Solomon about a distant kingdom. Islamic tradition calls her Bilqis. Her kingdom was incredibly wealthy, but steeped in polytheism, worship. Overawed by Solomon's wisdom and power, Bilqis abandoned polytheism. This celestial worship motif perfectly matches archaeological evidence of indigenous South Arabian beliefs. For centuries, Western academia considered the Queen of Sheba merely an allegorical myth due to a lack of physical evidence. That skepticism persisted until a historic breakthrough occurred right in the heart of Jerusalem in the 21st century. In 2012, at the Ophel, Dr. Eel's team discovered fragments of ancient pottery. It wasn't until 2023 that Dr. Daniel Vainstub published a groundbreaking report. It was ancient South Arabian script. The inscription translates to ladanum, an essential aromatic resin used to make the sacred incense burned at Jerusalem Temple. Clay analysis showed the jar was locally made. This indicates a Sabean official was permanently stationed right in Jerusalem. This is the oldest evidence, dating back to the 10th century BCE, of a massive incense trade route linking South Arabia and the Levant. It proves the Queen of Sheba's journey was, in fact, a real geopolitical summit to negotiate.
She came to Jerusalem to establish diplomatic ties and secure the transport network of aromatics from her kingdom to the...
So where was her kingdom? Based on the incense monopoly, the South Arabian hypothesis points directly to the Kingdom of Sheba. Sheba was a superpower that rose in the 10th century BCE. Thanks to the Great Marib Dam, the Sabeans turned the desert into...
Its strategic location allowed Sheba to monopolize the incense route, generating massive wealth and creating a highly prosperous...
On the outskirts of Marib lies one of the greatest archaeological wonders, the Awwam Temple, known locally as Mahram.
The name Sanctuary of Bilqis has been passed down orally for millennia. This was the center.
The temple's architecture is unique, featuring a massive oval wall and 8 finely crafted monolithic limestone pillars.
The Awwam Temple was not just a religious space, it was a multifunctional megacenter, serving as an oracle, a legislature. Archaeologists have found nearly 1,000 inscriptions here. It is the largest collection of pre-Islamic epigraphy on the
The adjacent necropolis houses countless alabaster portraits and grave goods, testifying to a highly advanced and wealthy society.
It wasn't until 1951 that an American expedition fully excavated the site, revealing a grandeur fitting for the Queen of Sheba's realm.
Not far away lies the Awwam Temple, or the throne of Bilqis. These towering structures are the clearest physical. Tragically, the civil war in Yemen threatens to destroy these priceless heritage sites. In 2020, returning to history, after Saba's decline, the Himyarite kingdom rose to power and unified the entire southern Arabian.
They moved their capital to the rugged highlands of Zafar. Under Himyarite rule, the region became a maritime powerhouse.
This era witnessed fierce religious friction. The Himyarite elite even converted to Judaism around 390 CE. This rivalry culminated when King Caleb of the Christian Empire of Aksum launched a massive naval invasion of South Arabia in the 6th.
Aksumite forces overthrew Himyar and ruled Yemen for decades. This bloody chapter demonstrates a crucial geopolitical reality.
The Red Sea was not a barrier, but a bridge. Power could easily project across the ocean between.
This connection brings us to the second major theory, the East African hypothesis, where the Queen of Sheba is seen as the. In Aksum, there is a massive stone ruin. Locals have reverently called it the Palace of the Queen of Sheba for generations.
The Dungur Palace spans over 3,000 square meters, with master-level ashlar masonry, reflecting the opulence of the Aksumite city.
Local believers claim this was where the Queen departed for Jerusalem. However, modern archaeology presents a different reality.
Stratigraphic analysis shows the current structure was built between the 4th and 7th centuries CE, millennia after the time of Sheba. Despite the chronological gap in architectural history, an archaeological project led by M in 2012 yielded groundbreaking evidence. They discovered stelae carved with the sun and moon. This is considered the calling card of the land of Sheba, an unmistakable. The presence of Sabean writing in Ethiopia proves that Sheban culture. Most importantly, the archaeological team identified the ruins of an incredibly vast ancient gold mine. Remember, South Arabia was rich in aromatics, but lacked large gold deposits. Ethiopia, however, was a legendary gold-producing hub.
For the Queen of Sheba to gift Solomon 4 tons of gold, she must have controlled these East African mines. Royal graves were also found.
Beyond archaeology, the enduring vitality of the East African legend lies entirely within the great national epic. The Kebra Nagast is not just literature, it is the sacred constitution that defined the identity and absolute legitimacy of the Ethiopian royal.
The epic blends history, Old Testament mythology, and Arab-Egyptian legends. In it, the
Kebra Nagast honors Makeda as a wise, independent sovereign. Her meeting with Solomon led to a classic legal and.
Desiring to preserve his royal bloodline, Solomon cunningly served Makeda extremely spicy and salty dishes. To protect her virtue, she made Solomon swear not to take her by force. Solomon agreed, but set a trap. She must swear. Makeda inadvertently drank. Solomon had placed it nearby. Solomon immediately appeared. "You have broken your oath."
Trapped by the king's cunning intellect, Makeda agreed from his oath.
That night,
The next morning, Solomon gave her a gold ring as a token. Returning to Ethiopia, she gave birth to Ebna la-Hakim.
As a young man, Menelik I traveled to Jerusalem. Although Solomon desperately wanted him to stay and inherit the throne, Menelik.
However, the Jewish entourage accompanying Menelik secretly stole the Ark of the Covenant containing the 10 Commandments and brought it to Ethiopia.
This event carried a shocking implication. God's divine favor had left Israel and transferred to the Ethiopians, the new Israel. This tradition is so deeply rooted that every Christian church in Ethiopia symbolizing the Ark of the Covenant.
The Kebra Nagast served as the perfect political weapon. Leveraging this divine bloodline, the Solomonic dynasty.
They claimed to be direct descendants of King Solomon and maintained an unbroken dynasty. Until 1970, the Kebra Nagast also weaves in the Council of Nicaea and the Hagia Sophia to lend a universal, unquestionable authority.
The world was divided in two.
The Roman emperor rules the north, and the Ethiopian emperor.
This historical fabrication transformed Ethiopia into an impenetrable ideological fortress against foreign medieval empires.
Caught between evidence from South Arabia and East Africa, modern science has formed a breakthrough theory. This is the transcontinental kingdom hypothesis. The Red Sea wasn't a boundary, but an internal highway.
The Queen of Sheba didn't rule just one shore. She was an exceptional magnet who controlled.
This theory perfectly explains how she could possess both the massive gold reserves of Ethiopia and the exclusive aromatics of. The Book of Psalms also mentions the kings of Sheba and Sheba side by side, referring to the two hemispheres.
Striking similarities in Semitic languages, terraced farming techniques, and architecture across both shores further cement this bond. And the fact that Ethiopia once controlled Yemen proves that transoceanic power shifts were feasible.
The most vivid living proof lies in the memory of the oldest Jewish communities in both countries, who preserve the same. They are like two fragments of the same mirror, reflecting the image of an empire that once spanned across the Red Sea. Where was the Queen of Sheba from? Cannot be constrained within the borders of a single modern nation. The headquarters and spiritual heart of the Sabean kingdom were undoubtedly located in South Arabia, but as a maritime superpower, their influence established colonial networks that controlled the massive gold mines in Ethiopia.
When the empire fractured, the queen's memory split, becoming Bilqis in Islamic tradition and the great Makeda of the Ethiopians.
Thanks to invaluable pottery shards in Jerusalem, the final veil of myth has been lifted, restoring historical truth.
The Queen of Sheba was no illusion. She was a brilliant diplomat, a chief architect of humanity's earliest.